Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Chris, and welcome back to once again another episode of the Big Brother Podcast, episode 0.5. That's what I'm going to call it because it's before the season starts. With my good friend Gocubs 711.
You want to know what I've been doing for the past 2.5 years that I just realized the other day?
What is that?
400 fucking hours on Omega Ruby.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Wow,
Breeding.
that
It's a
is
problem.
that. That's impressive, though. That's impressive.
I've bred 10 things within 4 days.
Give yourself a pound on the back for all your hard work at making Pokemon fuck.
Thank you. It's a proud moment.
For the longest
What
time,
everyone wants to do with their lives.
right. Well, I for the longest time, I just thought that Pokemon kind of like did like the budding process, where like they kind of just like the Adam, like the
Nope.
Pokemon just like come out
Nope.
of them.
It's not what happens.
But anyways, welcome everyone to the Big Brother Podcast. We got some news that we want to talk about. We thought of a good idea to do like some top 5 lists from not only Big Brother but also Survivor. And we'll talk a little bit more about what's happening on the Big Brother Marathon, which is currently going on. I believe if it's Friday, I think Big Brother 11 is on. I might be wrong, but you should definitely get the BB Marathon. It's awesome, so that we can watch all of them. CBS All Access is awesome. So anyways, let's get to the very first topic, which is the news, sort of. Because, like, okay, the news that I'm about to break to Gocubs, because I did not tell him anything, and that's what's going to bring me a lot of joy. Because he's going to...
Yeah.
Because
Sick bastard.
step by step, we'll see what his reaction is. But I don't know how legit this is, and I'm not trying to say at all that this is legit. This is just stuff that came across my feed, read into it, very in depth. If it is a guy that is lying about it, then which I'm assuming that it probably is. But if it's, especially since his Twitter account has yet to be taken down or anything like that, like CBS didn't push for that or anything, it's there. But he gave all this information. His name is Travis. About the way the season is going to work and what kind of season it's going to be. And again, I don't believe it necessarily, but it would be interesting concept as an interesting topic to talk about. So let's get into it. He separated obviously in tweets because this is from his Twitter account. So, are you ready?
I guess.
All right. BB18 spoiler number 1. And also if you are watching this podcast, you'll see the tweets pop up as I am talking about them. Spoilers number 1. 28 players.
Oh my god.
All right, so pause right there. So just as we were talking about off camera about how we want to kind of reduce the amount of house guys. 28 players, 14 veterans, and 14 rookies will move into the house. They will be told that first impressions are everything. Spoiler 2. After some amount of time, likely an hour, details about haven't been revealed. The returning players will play a new competition dubbed Fight of Your Life or Fight for Your Life. It sounds like it will be a trivia-based game revolving around past seasons of Big Brother, with each player earning a spot in the game permanently. Once they reach some milestone in the competition, for our sake, let's assume like 3 correct answers. When a player that person will earn the right back to actually enter the game. And they will also choose one new player to enter the house with them. That means, like in Big Brother 14, which you didn't see, production will send invitations to the players instead of keys, because that means they're not guaranteed a spot in Big Brother house. They just are invited to it initially. Eventually, 8 returning players will earn their right to enter the game, each bringing a new player for a cast of 16. So what do you think about that to start out with?
I don't think that's a terrible way to do it.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
That's why I liked it, like seeing it, because it's like there's a part of me that does not love the newbie versus veteran format.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Big Brother 14 personally. That was a rookie versus veteran season, kind of. Um, but then you had Big Brother 13, which is probably amongst one of the most forgettable seasons of Big Brother. Not really a good season in my opinion.
Yeah.
So this could either be really cool or just bomb, just like any other season of Big Brother, basically. So I like it. I think if it is true, if it is truly, yeah, go ahead.
It really gives like it gives people the chance to like earn their spot in the house, and it'll hopefully make it so that those people will be more competitive as a
Exactly.
result.
It'll probably put the four most knowledgeable all stars in the
Yeah.
house, as well as like they said, first impressions. We'll get the eight greatest people, newbies in the house as well. So the fact that they'll select two casts, essentially, select two casts, one of all stars, one of rookies, and basically put the eight of each best in the house, those 16 contestants.
Yeah.
I think that sounds awesome. I think it's definitely interesting thing to throw in. So there's more now. There might be another fight for your life competition sometime in that season, but he does not know what it will determine. So,
Right.
so I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'll be another mass execution of Vasquez. I don't know. Nobody who has won the game before is in this potential cast, which is something I appreciate.
I like that.
Yeah, because I think the All Stars that I watched just like the other day had Dr. Will return, who was considered one of the best house guests of all time. He won BB2 to return, and he did go deep in the game. He went to like the final four. It kind of stinks because otherwise you want all like everyone that did not get a chance to win it before in the game. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That was just me. And then they also said that no 2 or 3 time house guests are in the pool either. So that leaves out some people from BB12 like Rachel and Brittany. Jordan and Jeff will not be part of it. I have to think. Danielle and Dick were not going to be part of it. Mike Boogie's definitely probably not going to be part of it.
I recognize Jeff and Jordan and no other names.
Right, yeah. I just, for anyone that's a bigger fan of Big Brother that knows all these names, these are people that, and basically anyone from the All Stars cast from season 7, that all those people probably will not be here. But there are a good amount of characters between BB8 and BB17 that could be fit into this cast, and as well as anyone that has not been picked as an all-star from the first few seasons as well.
Yeah.
So, so that makes sense, I guess. John McGuire of BB17 and Brian Hart of BB10 will both be in the original group of 14 returnees. So that's John the dentist, and Brian Hart, who was famous for being the first one evicted in BB10 because he was just scheming way too early. And he's also famous for allying himself with Dan Gleason, who is also considered one of the best Big Brother players of all time. Ended up winning that season, BB10. Next spoiler. Also in the initial pool of veterans are 2 house guests for BB12, which happens to be my season that I saw for the first time, which was a pre-juror and a juror. I'm rooting for Enzo, personally. I loved Enzo from that season. I liked Reagan as well. Also in the initial pool of veterans... did I ever tell you about Enzo? His nickname was the Meow Meow.
Oh my god.
He's like this, I forget, like, I think he was Brooklyn, but, like, he had this really heavy Italian Italian Brooklyn accent.
Uh-huh.
He was a character. Also, the initial pool of veterans are 2 house guests from BB14, which are both jurors. And I do not know how many players from BB16 are on board, but I do know this season will not include Frankie Grande. So,
Good.
there you go. Despite a lot of speculation, Vanessa Russo of BB17 will not be on the season.
Also good.
This, now don't get your hopes up because we don't know if any of this is true, but it's nice to see, I guess.
Yeah.
There are no representatives from BB13. It is the only recent season without any returnees in the initial pool, which, again, understandable. There will be a new twist for the have-have-not system. Producers hope they will force have-have-nots to factor more into the house guest gameplay than it has in recent years. So that, to me, makes it sound like they could make everyone have-nots. Or if you're a have-not, you may be more secluded from other people. Like you can't like talk to people as much. You might have to just focus on your own group. Any of those, I don't mind. I think that I think that definitely could affect the game in a lot of ways. Would I love it? I don't know, but it just depends on what they actually do. Let's see. An America's player may make a return this season, but he does not know if it will be for the entire season or just for a portion. So, and I liked America's player. I'm watching BB8 right now, and Eric did a fantastic job as America's player. They just did a lot of random tasks like America votes for you to flirt with this person or mimic this person, or try to get an alliance with this person, try to make up a sob story, and confide in someone. So it was a fantastic job by him. He ended up winning $40,000 from it, so that was fantastic to watch. This one makes me cringe a little bit. Battle of the Block will not be a central twist. However, producers are considering using it as a Pandora's box twist.
Why?
That's when it kind of strives away that this is not realistic.
Yeah.
Because I think that Big Brother has now learned from its lesson. Learn lesson of like.
Well, you thought they did, and then they brought it back.
No, right. But when they brought it back for like. Not really like maybe like the first few weeks and then got rid of it. I think they know now what it does and how stupid it is, and hopefully they won't bring it back because I think it's just a bad system. The old key wheel, despite its popularity within the fan base, will not make its return to this season, which makes me sad. There will be a twist involving power of veto sometime throughout the season, and he does not have more details about that. And that's basically it.
Alright.
So, I don't know about the authenticity of it, but there's a lot of stuff that I like there, and there's some things that I might not like there. So
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that I am rooting against. I am rooting that this is all not really true, because I would like to find out, like, that Tuesday, June 13th, that like it is not true. Or yeah, it's Monday. That Monday. Oh, nice. So it's like less than 2 weeks from now. That we find out like the cast, and we find out that we find out that it's all stars, it's all newbies, and that anything that was said was completely untrue. However, the guy did go very in depth, so there's a lot of questions there.
All right, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so let's get to our top 5 list. So me and Gocubs each comprised 4 different top 5 lists, 4 for each of us, on our favorite Survivor winners, our favorite castaways, our favorite Big Brother winners, and our favorite house guests. So, Gocubs, we'll start out with the best Survivor winners, or favorite Survivor winners. So for
All right,
you,
so I think the way we should do this is that we should each name our number 5, and then each name our number 4, and so on.
okay, fair enough. So
All
you
right.
can go first then.
All right, so my 5th favorite Survivor winner is Mike Holloway, and the reason that I put him on there was because I feel like a lot of people, like in a lot of seasons, are like, hey, this person, they only have a chance if they keep winning immunity until the end, and that's exactly what Mike did.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that because he was able to win all those immunities and still keep a good uh stance socially, he definitely deserves to be up there.
Yeah, my number 5 is actually Tony, from Cagayan, because he played a very interesting game, a very I think very brash
Yeah.
game, very outspoken, but very he knew what he was doing, and he knew what he wanted, and he got it done, and he basically tricked Wu into bringing him along to the final two. So that was a epic moment. So I consider him my number 5. I didn't watch as many seasons as Gocubs has.
Yeah.
So these are a lot of these are more recent winners. So,
Yep.
all right. So go ahead.
All
With your number 4.
number 4 for me is Parvati Shallow.
Mhm.
She has played the longest number of highest number of days for all female contestants, and second highest overall. She's also played the game 3 times, and just overall the games that she has played have been great. And yeah, I just think that she deserves to be out there. She's also one of the few people who has made it to the end 3 times.
Okay. Wow. That is interesting. And
And she used to host the Survivor live show, but that doesn't really count for her gameplay.
right. She only won once though, right?
Yeah, she won once.
Okay. Next for number 4 for me is Natalie Anderson. That was from I think the most recent Blood versus Water.
Yes.
Lost her sister early. Her sister was the first one voted off, and she fought and was one of the most physical players and one of the most strategic players of that season. I was very impressed with her gameplay, and I think that she definitely deserves a spot on my list.
Yeah.
So go ahead with number 3.
If I did a top 10, she'd be in the 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. Number 3 for me is John Cochran.
Okay.
And the reason he is there is because of how terrible of a first season that he had. Just how awfully he played, especially right after the merge when he doomed his entire tribe. I think that was the second fans versus favorites to that. No, he came back for a fans versus favorites. That was from a different.
He won that fans versus.
He won the fans versus. Favorites
I think it was either One World or Philippines. I forget which one.
I think it was Philippines because I think it was when Coach came back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he doomed his entire tribe. And then the next season, he realized, "Wow, I did not do that the way I wanted to," and he completely changed everything he did and ended up winning. So,
all right, interesting.
Yeah.
For me, I did Jeremy Collins. Just won Survivor. Second chance. Jeremy, to me, I think is very similar to Cochran in the fact that he didn't really have that great of a start. I think he played too hard too early, and was one of the first ones out. At least at the merge, he made it to the jury, but I think he didn't really. He had a lot of bitterness with him. His wife was the first one to get put out, and he couldn't really focus on the game a lot, and that ended up screwing him over. But then when he got the second chance to play the game, he played a flawless game. He didn't have to worry as much about his wife, and he had times where he flew under the radar. He had times where he was the main person that caused someone to be voted out. So I think that he had just this turnaround, and it was awesome to see. So Jeremy Collins to be is number 3 on my list.
All right. Number 2 for me is Tony Vlachos, the first repeat on the list. a lot of the same reasons you said. I feel like I have to put the winner of my favorite season of Survivor so far at the top,
Right.
just because of how much I enjoyed that season overall, and how much I enjoyed Tony's game. As angry as I was about it, he even when things didn't necessarily go his way, he still had a sense of control.
Right. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And even though he played like a villain, like he still had a good attitude about things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think I respect that, and I respect the fact that he like you could be the fact that he was a villain, the fact that he was a villain, and that no one thought of getting him out.
Right.
Was interesting. I guess maybe him being villain helped get into the end because no one thought maybe they didn't think that people would vote for him.
Yeah.
But he still was a strong influence in the game, and that's what caused him to win.
He's good.
For me, for number 2, I think we actually swapped here. Mike Holloway was my number 2.
Oh, nice.
I think that he was a influence in the game from day one. And he formed the alliance that he did at the merge, and he was a main. He was like the main person, almost like the leader in that alliance. Then they started not trusting him, and then he was on the outs. But he was on the outs for the rest of the game. He won immunity after immunity, and he made it.
I think it was 6 in a row.
He made it to the end, and he won. And I thought it was one of the more fascinating, like, how in the hell did you survive this long? It was amazing. He just got out of every single situation. And I get that some people might be like, oh, well, it's not fun to watch it. Well, I think it is.
It was enjoyable.
I think it, because, like, he's an underdog. He was an underdog. It's because he was on the outs. The minute he didn't win an immunity, he was gone. He was gone. He's gonna be out.
Yeah.
And the fact that he actually stayed around.
That's how he had to play his game.
Right. Absolutely. And it was and the fact that he did that, the fact that he followed through with what he wanted to do, and he won it. I think he was a very deserving winner that season. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Number 1.
All right, number 1. I don't think I could have put anyone here other than Boston Rob Mariano.
Okay.
Because I don't know, he was the first season I watched was Survivor All Stars, and that was his second season at that point. Rob has played the game 4 times, finally won it at his last one, and in his last one, he surpassed the highest number of days played on Survivor. He has played Survivor for a total of 117 days. Right. Over 4 seasons, which is incredible.
That is awesome.
And in his season, the first Redemption Island season, he had probably what is the closest to be considered a perfect game. The season itself was not that fun to watch because you knew that Rob was going to win, especially after that season with Russell Hantz coming back. As soon as his tribe was like, we don't want to deal with this fucker, and voted him out. Like, through a challenge so that they could vote him out. That kind of went into Rob winning, but I think overall, like, Rob just played that season so well.
I think that can definitely be considered one of the best of all time. And I think I've only watched one season of his, and he played a great game.
Well, Heroes versus Villains, and then.
Oh well, it's 2 seasons. Yeah, I wish.
Heroes versus Villains wasn't a good season for him.
Right. Yeah. I think that he. I think that overall, I enjoy watching him. I think he has a great strategy. I think he's definitely fun to watch. Yeah. I did end up leaving him off my top 5 list just because I never really got to see his first season.
Right. I didn't see his first season, but
I didn't really get to see how he evolved into the player that he became. Right. To me, I think, but I do think that if we're talking like a realistic top list of Survivor winners,
yeah, I think this is just personal.
Yeah, I think that Boston Rob would definitely be number one on that list. So I agree. I absolutely agree with that. My number one, to me, just because I watched both seasons of this guy, and it was a great turnaround, is someone that's already been on your list, John Cochran.
Yes.
And Cochran, to me, he embodies the nerd that I enjoy watching, and like a nerdy character, and someone that has to go through a little bit of adversity. First season he screwed everything up. Second season he comes in and plays a very strong game, and I just enjoy watching him. I think he's a very smart guy, and I think he's a fun guy, mushroom, and I you're like just your giggles in the background. But no, I really like Cochran. I hope he comes back for a third season, but that's just me. I enjoy him. I just enjoy him as a person. I enjoy him as a winner as well, because I think he deserves it.
All right, should we move on to contestants? And if we can, kind of go a little faster through this, because I need to be somewhere. So.
Absolutely. Castaways. We'll start with number 5. I'll start this time. I actually did Kelly Wentworth.
All right. Cool.
Kelly. The reason why I did Kelly Wentworth is because of how again, it's one of those redemption stories where the first season, she had her dad there, and the dad kind of ruined everything for her. She ended up getting booted out, probably because of her dad. And she comes in the next season, second chance, and absolutely dominates early. Just gets the idol in front of everyone, but no one really gets to see it happen. And then just plays a dominant game. It was so much fun to watch her just grow up as a player. And no one really thought that she was going to, but she did. She made it to the Final Four. I was impressed, definitely. So you go ahead.
All right, number 5 for me is Ty Train.
Okay.
He is one of the most unique contestant Survivor's ever had. There's no question about that. And he just made a huge impact on me from the beginning. I really liked him. Didn't necessarily play the game that well towards the end, but made some very interesting moves that I appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, number 4, Spencer. Spencer from the past few seasons. I've just enjoyed him. I've enjoyed his personality. I think at times he got a little too cocky. I think there's times that he tried to be a little too smart for his own good. Yeah. But I still think that he played great games both times. He was fun to watch. He does have a good heart deep down, I know, and it was fun to see him play for 2 seasons.
Are you ready to yell at me?
Sure.
Number 4 for me is Cass McQuillan.
Oh, Cass. Oh, man. I'm not gonna get mad. I can see that. I can see that, though.
I was just saying just because of the number of times that I've ripped on her.
Right. Oh, that's true. But, why exactly is she on the...
I don't know. I'm actually rethinking this as now that I'm saying this out loud. She's one of the more memorable Survivor contestants. I think part of that is just because she's been part of 2 of my favorite seasons.
Okay.
And she I don't know, she's that one person that changed the game completely in Cagayan.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that was good or not for her, I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Chaos Cass, to me, was... I didn't like her, but I think that she made the game more enjoyable, because it
makes it more interesting to watch.
Yeah, I'm going to try to be quick because I know you want to get it, but I do want to say, I enjoy... As much as you want to hate someone, as much as you want to be mad at like a villain in a game, they make the game more interesting. You enjoy the game because you, and that, in sports is the same way. You enjoy the villains because you it gets you in the game more because you want to root against them and you want them to perish. And then when they don't and they end up winning the whole thing, it's gonna suck for a little while. But you're like, I mean, they kind of deserve it. The villains win, type thing.
It's like rooting for the Patriots.
Yeah, at times for me, yes. But I respect and I love the Patriots because of the fact that they're a villain and I like rooting
Yeah.
against them, but they make games more interesting to me.
Yeah. All right, number 3 for you.
My number 3 for me, I put him on the winners list. Putting it here, Cochran. Love Cochran again.
Yeah.
I love his personality. I think that he's awesome.
He's a cool guy.
Yep, absolutely.
Number 3 for me is Wu Huan. Wayne.
Woo! All right, woo!
You can tell which season I like.
Obviously, they had the best cast.
It had the best cast, and I think that Wu, even though he made a dumb decision at the end, which cost him the game, I think that overall he was just a very genuine guy. He knew what he was about, and even though that mistake cost him the game, he still stuck to who he was as a person, and I really admire that.
Absolutely. I definitely do, and I like how you said best cast, and I was like best casts.
Cass, yeah.
But no, Wu. I do like Wu. I think he's good. I think he has a good. Did he last that long on Second Chance? I forget.
I don't think so, honestly.
Yeah, I forgot him anyway. So number 2 for me, I did not just get to see a lot of him, but I do just love just the way that he lives life. Rupert, I love Rupert.
I knew as soon as you started that sentence who it was gonna be.
Rupert, I love Rupert. He has just like this biggest smile on his face all the time. He's always wearing the same tie-dye shirt and having a giant, like, he's just bushy all the time, like he's always on Survivor. He's just such a loving guy. You enjoy him. He's kooky, but he's fun. I like him.
Yeah. Number 2 for me is I'm gonna butcher his last name, Ozzy Luce.
Ozzy. Okay.
Ozzy. I think I've definitely seen all 3 of his seasons. I remember his last 2 the most. He never won, but he's always just been one of the more prominent Survivor players for me. And one of his first 2 seasons, he crafted an idol which he hid. Someone else found and tried to play it at Tribal. Which I think is so fucking hilarious.
That is interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know. He's just always had a really good attitude to me.
Absolutely.
And I've just enjoyed the way he's played the game.
Yeah, Ozzy, he's a fan favorite. I remember seeing him for Philippines, I believe. So.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of his seasons.
For me, number 1, and I don't know why I put him number 1. With I feel like it would not be my favorite list if I didn't include my winner for Survivor, Ty. I have to include Ty because I not in the way. Sometimes he definitely, like, I did love his gameplay near the end of the season, but for me, Ty, just a gentle heart, very kind, very loving of people, and I think that he is someone that we want to hear more about in, like, just in the public eye, because he's been through a lot. He's been through Vietnam, and he just is just so gentle, and I just love him. I think he's just a really great personality, and I just enjoyed him as a castaway as well.
All right, number 1 should come as no fucking surprise, but it's Spencer Bledsoe.
There you go, Spencer Bledsoe.
Most of the stuff you said earlier, I think that Spencer and I would play the game very, very similarly.
Right.
We also kind of look similar.
I agree.
If I shaved.
I agree. Absolutely.
And did my hair up a little bit, I would be Spencer. I also, too, think that I would be a cocky son of a bitch sometimes.
Well,
just because, I don't know. I
think you could
feel
learn
that
from
I
it.
like think that I know more than other people.
Oh, right, but I think you could learn from his mistakes, though, too.
Yeah, definitely.
So you know how to approach things. So I think
One day.
I think being cocky can work in your favor, though, because at least that way it helps build confidence and it helps keeps you going.
Shit, my confidence is after I started, like, being like, hey, I'm gonna tell myself that I'm awesome. My confidence level has shot up.
Absolutely. There you go.
Yeah.
So let's actually move on to the Big Brother side of things. Since this is the Big Brother podcast, pass the torch to the keys of the house. And we're gonna start with the winners. Now you have a shorter list, so
you do 5 and 4, and then I'll join you on 3.
Yeah. So for me, number 5 on my list is Ian from BB14. Definitely, I understand that people feel like Dan deserved to win that season, but I think that Ian he kind of was seen as, like, no one really liked him in the beginning, and like just people saw him as weird and they wanted to get him out, but he turned out to play a really good game and ended up getting one of the biggest threats in the game out very early on, and he just survived to the end, won competition when he needed to. And I loved it very much. Dr. Will is number 4 for me. The reason why Dr. Will is this low is I just watched his season recently, so I didn't really get to experience his season. But Dr. Will, he's a cocky son of a bitch, really full of himself, but he's brilliant in the way that he just tells people that he hates them and just does not care for them at all, and yet they keep him in the game, and he basically has a hand in evicting every single person. It's fascinating to me. And then his partner, Mike Boogie, is number 3 on my list because of the fact that he's a lot nicer version of Dr. Will. A lot more sociable version of him, but he still has a hand in every single vision. He's very well spoken. I enjoy both of them. I think they're a good pair. So, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Andy Herron, and Andy I was rooting for in that season for about the final 8,
Right.
just because everyone else made me sick at that point, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
That was just not a good season, and I think that he was the best to come out of a really weird season.
Absolutely.
But he did form the alliance he needed to when he needed to, and it helped. And he went to my high school.
Yeah, there
So,
you go.
I got to keep driving that home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and to see that was your first season watching Big Brother.
Yeah. By the way, my top 3 are from 15, 16, and 17 because those are the only ones that I've seen.
Absolutely. Yeah. I gotcha. I understand. Yeah. But Andy, number 3 for you. For me, actually, you can start out with number 2 if you want.
All right. Number 2 for me is Steve Moses, and Steve was so much fun to watch because like Cochran and kind of like Ian, he was the nerd. Like, he was the very nerdy person in a group that was very sociable with each other. And I think just try to like kind of glide under the radar until he had to start playing. He did it very perfectly because all of this the explosions of BB-17 were happening above him.
Right.
And then he was just kind of like crawling underneath, and then he popped up. He was like, "Hey guys, what's going on? Fuck you, I won."
Yeah, absolutely.
And he plays trombone, so
yeah. Steve, to me, I understand that people. Well, I didn't get about when Steve won. Everyone was like, "Well, no, Vanessa deserved to win." Fucking, she was not in the final 2.
She was not in the final 2.
And Steve got her out. So in turn, Steve
Really
deserved to win.
Really well done. Won the challenge to get Vanessa out. Like,
I think that everyone's just gets their panties in the bunch a little bit.
why would Vanessa? Okay, when you say deserve to win means out of the people that made it to the final 2.
Right. Exactly. And Steve
doesn't matter how you play the rest of the season. If you can't make it to the end, you did not play the best game.
Right. And Liz.
When it comes to voting, that's different.
Right. Exactly.
But if you don't make it to where you're voting for win, I don't care. You didn't play the best game.
Exactly. I agree.
You can argue all you want, but
I absolutely agree. I think it's really petty, but
yeah.
Hey, whatever. I think that your number 1, obviously, and my number 2 are very similar, so we'll just talk about him together.
Yeah.
And that's Derek.
Derek Levasseur.
Yeah, from BB-16. He was a mastermind. He was an absolute mastermind.
Similarly to Rob, I think that Derek played one of the closest things to a perfect game. He was never nominated.
Yeah. And not only that, but the fact that he was balancing America's team with his gameplay, and that he was able to avoid having to like get any like blood on his hands in that sense.
And also, no matter who he like, when it got to the final 3, no matter which person he was with, like if Cody had won the final immunity, he would have taken Derek. If Victoria had won, she would have taken Derek. he set himself up to guarantee his victory.
Yeah, final HOH you mean. Yeah,
Finally, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. He has set himself up to win, and I was kind of worried when he was sitting next to Cody because people were like, "Oh, well, Derek, we didn't really see his gameplay." Really? No,
He was
he was
behind
there
a lot of it.
the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was glad to see him win. He absolutely deserved it. Absolute mastermind in my opinion.
All right.
But a bigger mastermind and someone I respect to seeing play in Big Brother 14. Have not seen all of Big Brother 10, but Dan Gleesling, I guess. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but one of the biggest masterminds in the game. Just how he's able to get out of situations. He was on the very Giesling, yeah. He was on the very bottom of BB10. I was able to make it to first place in that season. Then BB14, he just had all these weird strategies. He conducted his own funeral at one point, and like literally he conducted his own funeral, and he still ended up winning the game somehow. And it was such a bizarre but brilliant way to play the game, and he did not win BB14. He ended up winning, but I respect him as a player. I respect how he played the game. I loved everything that I've seen from him, so I can see why people say he's one of the best of all time. I think that he's better than Dr. Will, so come at me for all you BB lovers. So that's that. And now we get to the house guests. You could start out with number 5, with your number 5.
All right. So house guests, other than the winners, I really don't have any that I'm like, yeah, I liked this person.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna start with number 5 with Meg Maley. She didn't really play the game all that much, but she never made anyone mad.
Right.
She was just a nice person, and with all the shit that happens in Big Brother, you need nice people.
Absolutely, yeah. Meg was awesome, and she had times where she got really upset, and there's
drunk.
also and drunk, and she kind of was dumb at times as well when she was playing. But overall, if she knew really what was happening in that house, I think she could have gone much further than she did. But she was awesome. She was really I really enjoyed her. For me. You'll know a few of these people on this list, but first off is Eric from BB8, who I just talked about was the America's Player from Big Brother 8. I just enjoyed his personality. I enjoyed what he did as America's Player because he just took it and ran with it, and he made it very far in the game. He made it to 5th place. He could not take down Dick and Danielle, Evil Dick, but Eric was just had a fun personality, very dorky in a way, but just fantastic, and I enjoyed. And he would defend people if they need defending. He was awesome in that sense. I really respect him. So, cool. For your number 4.
All right, number 4 for me is James Hewling from BB17.
Okay.
He like Meg, he also had a really good personality. And I think that he was a little more in the game than Meg was.
Mm-hmm.
I think had Jason stayed in, Jason Roy, then the game would have been a lot different. And I think that James and the rest of his alliance would have been in a much better position to win the game.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
That was just one vote that could have gone either way, and I think that was the tipping point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do like James a lot. I think he had a great personality. So, yeah, I like it. For me, next up, number 4 on my list is Enzo from BB12, otherwise known as the Meow Meow. Was part of the Brigade Alliance, which dominated throughout the whole season. Kind of why people didn't really love that season, because it was a dominant male, all 4 people alliance. But to me, he made that season because how charismatic he was and how just goofy and weird but just awesome he was at the same time. He made that season fun to watch. I hope he gets into an All-Star season. I hope he returns because I think he's awesome. So Enzo for number 4. Your number 3?
Number 3 for me is Donnie Thompson.
Donnie.
Just because of how out of his element he was, still being able to make it to the top half, and being part of Team America, he just did really well that season. Again, a nice guy. I like the nice people in Big Brother better than I like the mean people.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Absolutely. It's
like mean people in Survivor are good game players. Mean people in Big Brother are just bullies.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, well, like I said, like, you know, you had Dr. Will, who you didn't see, but Dr. Will, very just, he was rude to people at times. He was mean to people, but it was all for a strategy, and he did it perfectly. But people try to emulate that, and they can't do it. They just come off as assholes, and it just does not further them in the game at all. Zach from BB16, he was trying to be an exact replica of Dr. Will. He tried to say that he wasn't, but he was. He literally, like, he even looked like him a little bit. So
the eye shape,
right? So
and hairstyle, kind of.
Yeah. So I just think that for me, Zach. That's why now I kind of just don't really respect Zach as much as, like, if I even did in BB16, just because, like, he that's all he did. He was just trying to emulate Dr. Will, but it just was not working at all. So that was just me. For me, number 3 on my list, BB17's John McGuire. I like the dentist, loud, obnoxious, and I think that I think that there was obviously parts of the season where you kind of were like, what are you doing, Johnny Mac? But at the same time, he was funny, and he just enjoyed what he was doing in there, and he was on the outs for a lot of it, but it was fun to see how he participated in the game. Yeah. I enjoyed him, and the fact that the have-not room was a dentist chairs, I thought that was just so fitting. For him, so there you go.
All right, number 2 for me is Caleb Reynolds.
Caleb,
really, he was a huge character in BB16, but just being able to see him, how he kind of like progressed throughout the season to becoming more than just a physical threat, but actually starting to play the game.
Right, absolutely. Him in the beginning of the season was,
and then also
so bad.
This past season of Survivor, seeing him in a different element. What?
Well, no, I'm just saying that Caleb had a horrible start and was looked as like an idiot from the beginning, and then kind of changed throughout.
Yeah, I think we're having like a small Skype delay.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, we'll figure it out somehow. So yeah, I just really like Caleb. He'll always be really memorable for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Caleb, I didn't put him in my top 5, but I think that he changed throughout the game, and he changed as a person. And I think that he was very interesting to see grow up over time and grow into the guy that he is now. I think he's just 2 very different people. I think his times on both Big Brother and Survivor changed him a lot. And I'm glad that he's okay after what happened last season, Survivor.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was awesome watching him. Number 2 for me is Donnie Thompson as well. Just a sweet guy. Just a groundskeeper from, you know, wherever he was from elementary school. He's just a cool guy, just a lovable guy. You know, I think that he made a lot of people. He brought a lot of joy into that house. Even though everyone was speculating if he was like a rocket scientist or if it was from Harvard or it was like from the army, and everyone was all the theories to try to get him out of the game.
So funny.
But he was just little old Donnie Thompson who just wanted to come on, make some friends, and get the money. But I'm happy for him. What's your number 1 Big Brother house guest?
All right, I know exactly who your number 1 is going to be because you've been talking about him the past few days. But my number 1 is Johnny Mac McGuire for a lot of the same reasons that you did. It's cool to see people who were like just eliminated come back right away because like you show that you still want to fucking be in the game
Right.
like that hard. I also think that it really helped with the like having us doing the podcast for that season. Us being like, wow, this guy's going to be so annoying. We're going to hate it. Turning back into, wow, this guy's one of our favorites of all time.
Right.
It's just funny.
Absolutely. I enjoy that. I think that
yeah.
I enjoy. That's what I love about when we do the cast interpretations. I mean, it's a lot of work when we have to try to like break down each and every single one. But that's what's so much fun about it is that when you look back at what you did, compared to your impressions of them now, like it's awesome to me. I think it's interesting to look back like, wow, they really either changed my mind, either if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So, and you guessed it. My number one is none other than Chicken George. My God, this guy was just this lovable, this lovable dad. I believe he was from Tennessee. I might be wrong about that, but he came into this game, the Big Brother 1. Big Brother 1, very different to what it is now. And there is just something about how he just has a smile on his face all the time, dresses up in goofy costumes. It just makes people laugh and makes people want to just enjoy themselves in the house. When he was in Big Brother All-Stars, he was definitely out of his element. He wasn't really playing the game. But, well, I'm sorry, he was. He actually won a lot. He won some of the competitions.
He lives like 45 minutes away from me.
Yeah, and he is just so awesome in just so many different ways because he just looks at life and he just is who he is, and he's just happy to be there. He's just happy to be like he just loves life, and that's someone I looked up to. That's someone that I just respect, and he doesn't care. He does not care about all the bad stuff that happens to him in the game. I think the only time I've really gotten to see him like get angry at someone is just a douchebag in the jury house who kept on calling him a fat ass. But I mean, I think that anyone would probably get mad at that point.
Yeah.
Just a really just all around happy guy, Joey, like jolly older guy, and I love him very much. So, I'm gonna cut things short. We were gonna talk about a little bit about the BB Marathon.
Yeah, I have to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna not. We're not gonna talk about that. But just to do just real quick. BB2 was okay. Loved BB3. Loved BB5. BB4 sucked ass because the cast was terrible. BB6 was okay. Didn't really get to see a lot of it. BB7 All Stars was awesome. Hoping that it happens again this year. And BB8 was pretty cool too. Don't hate Dick as much as I originally thought I was going to, but still, he's kind of a dick, literally. I know that BB9 sucks, and BB10 was awesome because of Dan. All right, that's all. That's my round.
All right, brush your plants, water your teeth. Good night.
All right, see you guys next time. Bye.